What's up, prospects? It's Coach Robby, National Scouting Report. It is, it's too late and too hot. It's the end of Saturday, Stars over Alabama Showcase, and we had the NSR Combine that we ran yesterday and today, and probably every bit of 200 people today alone. So I'm not exactly sure of the overall numbers. But good showcase, obviously. Still a little bit left of it, but I wanted to make sure it kind of capped today. And by the way, pardon the whole Oompa Loompa stuff going on right now. And I finally decided bucket hat was protecting the sun, but man, it wasn't keeping me cool. It was hot as all get out today, and so I ended up getting this contraption from somebody else and soaking it in the cooler to put it around my head. So pardon the Oompa Loompa face and the wild hair and 70s headband going on. But I wanted to kind of cap the video. Obviously, you can see from some of the clips, I beta tested a little bit by wearing the GoPro on my head. So let me know how y'all like that down in the comments or shoot me a text. I'm really curious about that. In addition to that, I wanted to say something about camps and combines. I have to walk a really fine line on exactly what I do and don't say, because I don't want to offend any clinicians or any of the people running showcase camps or any of the people running combines, or especially any college coach camps. I definitely don't want to cross any of those lines. And in addition, I don't want to offend any of the travel coaches or whoever it is. So I have to really walk a fine line on exactly what I do and don't say in explaining this. But I'll say this and I'll leave it there. In any test that you take, regardless of if we're talking about a softball combine, if we're talking about your driver's test, your ACT, in any test that you take, which is actually a really good example. What do people say about the SAT and ACT? Well, she's really smart and she has 4.5 weighted GPA, but she just can't get over that 21 hump. She still has 21 on the ACT and she can't get any higher. We know the kid is super intelligent. Why is she not getting higher? The way that you increase your scores on a standardized test like the SAT, ACT, obviously some of it's a little bit of understanding the material, but what does everybody say? They say it's not necessarily what's on the test, it's how you take the test. So in any test that you're taking, the thing that you have to keep in mind is the more you understand about the test, the more, whether it's subconscious or whether it's conscious, the more consciously you can put forth the right effort in order to ensure that you maximize the results, right? So that's the reason that some of y'all are going to some of these, whether it's a college camp in front of the college coaches, or it's a college showcase camp with a bunch of college coaches, or it's a combine or something, and there's this other kid that isn't necessarily even close to your level. She's not as talented as you, but she scores higher on certain things, and sometimes dramatically higher, and so she garners more attention from the coaches if the coaches are present. I tell you all that to tell you this. When you have intelligence about the test versus talent, metrics don't decide everything. Metrics are a suggestion, an implication, as far as what somebody can and can't do. So obviously if I see 221 shortstops and I see this one has a ball exit of 72 miles an hour and it has an overhand of 65 miles an hour and ran a 3-0 home to first, and then I'll look at the other one and it says that she had an overhand of 57 and a home to first of 3.5 and a ball exit of 55. Not saying those numbers are bad, they're not. But if both of those kids are trying to garner the same attention from a coach, the first one is going to get more attention naturally. She is going to garner more attention. She may not be as skilled of a player, but metrically she's performing higher. And metrics aren't everything; they don't decide everything. So please don't misinterpret that. But I tell you all that to tell you this: as soon as you get to that first year 14s, at least first year 14s, like right now, present day, the 24s, and really even educating and starting to test the 25s is incredibly intelligent. Are coaches harping on what a 24 is doing? No. Are coaches even asking about 25s right now? No. And anybody that says that they are is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So that being said, it still does not hurt to educate them, such as if somebody's standing behind a net with a radar and you're throwing an overhand, you got to think of like a 3x3 or a 4x4 box. Naturally, the radar, especially if you're using pocket radar, by the way, is going to pick it up regardless of where it's at. But the further away from a beeline, the further away from a direct shot you get, naturally your numbers are going to go down, down, down. So you throw it right at the radar and it says that you have an overhand of 60. I'm right here, it says an overhand of 60. And then the next one you hit the very top of the net. Naturally, it's going to end up saying at least 1 or 2, if not 3 miles an hour slower. So the other thing is, when you go to one camp, they're going to do a home to first. You go to do another camp, it's going to be a 20. You do another one, it's going to be a home to first off a contact, and another one home to first on a ghost swing. Another one, it's off first step. Understand every one of those. If you're in an organization where your coaches do facilitate some of that kind of training and stuff, ask them about it. They will probably end up doing it for the entire team. If they're not exactly sure about the different tests and stuff, by all means, they can reach out to me, or you can reach out to me. I have no qualms, and neither do any of our scouts have any qualms about teaching them about all of them. Truthfully, you can go to the NFCA website. You can, look at a lot of that stuff to see the different test measurements. Now, this goes across the board. This goes, whether it's ball exit, same thing with ball exit. If I'm sitting here and I'm trying to gun, hitting line drive, hard line drive is always going to be the most optimal area for you to get the highest measurement. Will it pick it up if you hit it to the top of the net or you hit it down on the ground? Yeah, it'll pick it up, but you're going to drop a couple miles per hour. So you're doing ball exit, try to hit a line drive. You're doing overhand, try to throw a beeline. You're doing pitching. Obviously, you still have to command and you still have to spin and everything. But when you go to throw your fastball, still command it, but hone that thing in there, okay? Same thing when you're doing home to first, because there's so many different. This coach likes the 20 off of lasers. This coach likes the home to first off a stopwatch, off contact. This coach likes the home to first off of first step. You never know what a coach is going to like, and it's not their job to cater to you. It's your job to cater to them. So start figuring out about those tests. Start training on those tests. If you start learning not only how to train for it, but also understanding it going into the camp, you're not only going to be less nervous and more comfortable and perform at a higher level, but it allows you to be able to train in a certain way in order to ensure that those things are going the best way. This includes the shuttle run, the 5-10-5, everything across the board. If you're going to be tested, understand the test that you're doing. We were fortunate enough at the Stars over Alabama Combines that we did yesterday and today, that there was a good majority of girls that had done at least half of them before. But there were some extremely talented girls that came through, and it surprised me that besides a pitcher who had been measured by their pitching coach or something, they had never had their ball exit speed, they had never had their time to contact, they had never had their overhand measured, they had never had their speed measured. Just those little bitty things. Understanding the test, regardless of what the test is, and depending on your position, is going to depend on what types of tests you need to be prepared for. But one of the things that I've totally left out here, because it is a totally a new video in itself, is catchers. Whether it's your overhand, whether it is your pop time from the feet, pop time from the knees, that's a whole nother video. If you have any direct questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to me and ask. Send me a message, comment down on the link, shoot me an email, whatever the case is. But there are catchers that I saw over the last 2 days, and again, I'm going to tiptoe around how I say this, but catchers that I knew was better than this other girl. Not that they both weren't good, but that was better than this other girl. But this other girl picked up on exactly, throwing from the knees, how to push off the back foot. And she's sitting here. The kid has a good arm, has a good exchange, but throwing from her knees. You know, she was incredibly much slower than throwing from her feet. And not to say that's a huge issue, but you know, a 2021 who has never been coached on how to throw from her feet and push off the back foot. And like I told her, put a pair of socks on, put a pair of sweatpants on, and get a tube sock and go in the kitchen, do it across the tile or the wood or whatever. You know, bottom line, that's a totally another video. But the point of this video was to remind you, anytime you have a test, regardless of what test it is, make sure that you understand how to take the test in order to get the most optimal results out of it. That's going to cap it here, guys. We got a little over half a day left here in Alabama. Hope to see y'all at the field.